Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. We've just opened the gates today, and just give us another few seconds so that we are able to let those people join us who've just logged in. Maybe 15-20 seconds more, and we'll get going. Greetings to you, Tohi from Singapore as well in the meantime. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. It's kind of becoming a little habit. You see us very often these days. And I would say thanks to our hardworking engineers in Germany who are putting in every effort to continuously deliver new fruits to us so that we are able to make a stronger immune system and go through the pandemic. I hope all of you are safe and keeping well. Today we are here to talk about a new family member, and the only way I would describe it is in three words: powerful, cinematic, and rugged. And why I say these words is because these are the combinations that have made this product of two worlds in one choice. So very rarely we have products where we have absolutely very professional technical and mechanical and optical advantages all in one. So sometimes one body has something very nice and the other times the video part is something nice. But this is really fantastic that we have for the first time created, as some of our colleagues would say, a real beast, the SL2-S. One more time, it is basically three words description: powerful, rugged, and cinematic. And to tell you more today, we have on our panel two very smart, intelligent, and good-looking photographers, Munster and Casey. They both represent Singapore, and they both are professionally acclaimed photographers. They do a lot of jobs, and they make a lot of money as well. And one of the rare things that happens these days as a photographer. So while they are involved with Leica, I have to also admit that these two people have purchased a Leica with their own money, and that to the SL system. So thank you very much, Munster and Casey. I know you'll be joining us soon. But in the meantime, I would like to also introduce Lucas, who is our product and training specialist, who will tell you the reasons why I was saying the SL2S is two worlds, one choice, and powerful, rugged, and cinematic. So over to you, Lucas.
Thank you very much, Sunil, and welcome everybody from my side. I think you are now already experts in joining our Zoom sessions, so you know how it goes. If you have a question, can ask them into the chat box, and then I will answer them by myself, or later on I will ask this to the photographers. So I think almost of you know that Leica has more than 100 years history and tradition in making cameras, lenses, and sport optic products. But today we are talking about a family member that is, I would say, quite new to the family. Is 5 years old now. So in 2015, what happened there? Leica made the step to introduce the SL system. And this was a very big step in two aspects for us. The first aspect was internally. When you bring a new compact camera to the market, you just take the camera, give it to the people, but in a camera system is totally different. You really have to make a commitment that you will maintain those system and develop this system over years, if not over decades. And this is what we are doing with the Leica SL system. So we say we are bring out a camera which fits into the gap of the M system and the S system, to bring up a tool for professional photographers who need to rely on precision, speed, performance, technical aspects, and also building up constantly a portfolio of lenses, of technical accessories that are all made for professional photography. The second aspect of launching the SL system was the aspect to the market. So before that, there were a lot of photographers torn between DSLR and mirrorless, because they say, I cannot give away my DSLR because I really like the look of my optical viewfinder, because I see the real image that's coming through the lens, and an electronic viewfinder doesn't give me that kind of feeling. With the SL system, we introduced first a viewfinder with 4.4 million pixels, and when you look through it, your picture was as crispy and clear as you were used to from an optical viewfinder. Plus, you get all the additional advantages from an electronic viewfinder. And that was a big message to the market to say, in the segment of full frame and everything below, there's maybe no need anymore to use a DSLR. You can achieve these advantages with a mirrorless full frame camera. And this is what we did with the SL here. 3 years later, after building up our own lens portfolio, we introduced at the Photokina 2018 the L-Mount Alliance. For those of you who don't know it, the L-Mount Alliance basically allows our partners, Panasonic and Sigma, to use the same mount on their cameras and their lenses as we do, which is the L-Mount. And as you may guess, L stands for Leica here. So Leica was the one that designed, engineered, and developed this mount to have a mount that is perfectly fitting for full frame high-speed lenses and at the same time APS-C applications. So the Leica CL and the Leica TL using the same mount. And then people came up to us and asked, why do you open up your system to competitors? Are you not afraid that people will buy a Panasonic or a Sigma lens instead of a Leica lens? And we say, yes, probably that can happen. But our goal is to offer the customers that we have as much choice and flexibility as possible. So if you combine all of the opportunities that you have with the L-Mount Alliance, we have 8 SL full frame lenses, 6 TL lenses. Then our competitors Panasonic and Sigma, since we have started it, they have also announced more than 10 lenses. So by now there's over 40 lenses in the market, which you can use without an adapter on that camera. And compared to our other competitors, there's nobody in the market that can offer that range of lenses and flexibility. So for us, this was definitely the right step to say the L-Mount Alliance is a very good choice, especially for our customers. And then 1 year later, in 2019, we introduced the Leica SL2. And I have to say, I already liked the SL1, but the SL2, what we did here is simply amazing for me, because we kept everything that was successful in the SL, and we still increased the performance in so many aspects. The viewfinder, for example, increased from 4.4 million to 5.7 million. But not only this, we implemented in-body stabilization, where you can decrease your stop by 5.5 stops. You have a very fast and precise autofocus. We have professional video functionality here. We have an additional grip on the SL2, which was only a very small change, but customers say to us, it's great. The camera feels actually lighter now, even if it is not. It feels so because I have a better grip in my hand. And the protection of the camera, when I did product demonstration, I always pour a glass of water over the camera, and people say, how can you do that? I say, no problem. It's actually no problem. And today, we are happy to introduce a new member of our family. which is the Leica SL2-S. And S in that case stands for speed. So what do we got from the SL2-S? I can promise you I will not read through everything over here. Let's focus on the main improvements. So the SL2-S comes with a newly developed 24 megapixel CMOS BSI sensor. BSI stands for backside illuminated. You probably already know that technology from an iPhone, for example, which they also announced BSI. And with that technology, it helps a lot for shooting in low light. So basically the ability of the sensor catching light. Then we are talking about speed. With the SL2-S, you can shoot 25 frames per second DNG, 25, which is basically the frame rate of a video. So you can shoot a video of 25 frames per second and you can shoot 25 frames per second DNG. And we have done that today. If you display them very fast after each other, it looks like a video. That is possible because we are using here a 4 GB internal memory buffer. So when you're shooting in JPEG, for example, there's no limitation anymore for your buffer. So you can shoot until your SD card is full. Then we already mentioned the low light performance. We increased the ISO of this camera up to 100,000. And I will stop here because I'm having a picture later for you, because ISO 100,000 is only a number, but we will see how that will work. Then, as Sunil already mentioned in the beginning, video. We are not only having a photo camera here, we are also having a video camera. And it's not a toy video camera, it's actually meant to produce and deliver professional video content. So we have two cameras in one over here, which means you can record 4K 30 frames per second at 10-bit 422 internally, and also 4K 60-bit and Cine 4K 60-bit via HDMI. Then we have introduced here the L-lock, you know already from the SL2, but there's two new things over here, which is so-called the lookup table. But let me show you a picture later on, then you will know what it is. The SL2 is, because of certification, limited to record 29 minutes. This one is not. So with video, you can record as much as you want. There's no limitation in the timing over here. 2 days ago, you have already probably heard about it, that we have finally, for a lot of our customers, announced our collaboration with Capture One. So from now on, the S3, the SL2, and the SL2-S will be integrated into Capture One 21. And all the other specs you see there on the right side, everything that has been shown so successful from the SL2, we all kept. So there's no compromise you have to make here in the SL2-S. Let's go a little bit more into the video settings. So as you know, our menu is divided between the photo mode and the video mode. And for professional photographers who are also doing video content, this can be quite important because they are using different settings for photo and different settings for video. So whatever you do in the video mode doesn't affect the photo mode, and of course vice versa. Then, as I mentioned, you can record now 4K in 10-bit 422, which is broadcasting standard for TV. So this is definitely up to date when it comes to professional video capability. And then I already mentioned the lookup table. So I was thinking, how can I describe and explain lookup table to everybody? I hope the professional videographers of you don't kill me, but the lookup table is, you can see it as kind of an Instagram filter. So what you can do with a lookup table? The L-lock, for example, that we already had in our SL2, This yeah, the log where it's, you see it's a little bit grayish, which makes sure that you don't have any dead areas in your picture. So no over highlighted whites and no too dark blacks. Because when you want to color grade your content afterwards, then you can do it without any loss in information. And with the two lookup tables we have introduced in the camera, which is classic and natural, you can actually preset the colors as you want to have it, and you can immediately see how the colors would look like when you shoot a video. Especially when you want to do color grading, it can be very important to already see how a specific scenery would look like. And with an upcoming firmware update, it will also be possible to upload your own lookup tables to the camera. So whatever lookup table you would like to use, you can upload to the camera and you immediately see how your scenery that you want to record will look like. Then I'm coming to the ISO performance now. And I told you I will show you a picture. So this picture that you see here is made with ISO 64000. That's not a spelling mistake. It's not 6400, it's 64000. In our session earlier here in our store, we have made shots with 100,000. Of course, yes, you see the grain with 100,000 and 64,000. That's obvious. But if you look at the picture with 64,000, it's beautiful. For a grain like that, it's beautiful. And now you can imagine what you can do with those cameras. With image stabilization, with 24 megapixels, which makes the pixels bigger compared to a 47 megapixel, plus an ISO performance that is on that level. So for low light shooting, photo as well as video, this camera will be a monster, definitely. So here what I mentioned, when you zoom into the picture, yes, you see grain, and I think it's on everybody's preference if they like it or not, if they can take it or not. But you see, even if you have it, it still looks smooth and beautiful and you can work with it. Then coming back to the ceiling of the camera. This camera, as well as all of our top-line cameras, is made in Germany from scratch. And the SL2 and the SL2-S have an IP rating of 54. If you compare that with the Q2, for example, which is a compact camera where you cannot change the lens, this camera is already very well protected, very well sealed. It has an IP rating of 52. And here we are talking about a system camera where you can change the lenses. An open system has an IP rating 54. So that means you can go in the desert where it's dusty and hot, doesn't matter. You can go outside in the rain, heavy rain, and the only thing that will get wet is you and the outside of the camera. The inside, there's nothing to happen in the camera. And you can go up to -10 degrees and you can still use the camera and shoot with it. What we always heard from some photographers were, I'm really keen into the system. I really would like to use a Leica, but I'm using Capture One and you are not supporting Capture One. And this is holding me back to change the system. 2 days ago, we have announced that now our cameras will be integrated into Capture One. So now there's no excuse anymore not to go for it. No matter if you use Adobe Lightroom or Capture One, both are supported now. And we really hope that this will be a big advantage for you, that you are now free to use whatever you want. I already talked about the L-mount alliance, but L-mount alliance is very, very nice, but sometimes we also forget what we already offer in the Leica range. So what do we have in terms of lenses already in our family? We have the 1.4 50 millimeter, which is a superb lens for portraits, for example, 1.4. And then we have 4 prime lenses, which we call the APO range. So from 35 to 90 millimeter, can find 4 almost similar lenses in the size, in the weight, and especially in the performance, all coming with aperture 2.0, and all are exceptional in performance. If you are interested and keen in it, take a look at the MTF curves and compare it with other lenses. These are top of the line at the moment when it comes to lenses in the market. Then we are also having 2 zoom lenses. So a wide angle zoom from 16 to 35. Our very first lens, the 2490, which I see on a lot of cameras from professional photographers, which they say, this is for me the best lens because it's delivering the best content, the best performance, and it gives me the highest flexibility because I have a wide angle and a little bit of a telezoom to 90 millimeter. And then, of course, we are also having the 90 to 280 zoom lens. And what I also said, let's not forget what we already offer. With the L mount, you can basically use every single Leica lens. There's only a handful of lenses which you cannot use, but all SL lenses, of course, all TL lenses, which are APS-C lenses. And then you can use over 70 different M lenses. And we see a lot of people really like to use an M lens on the SL because they say with the viewfinder, it's even easier to manual focus my M lenses. Then you can also use your S lenses, for example, if you already have an S system. You can use all the R lenses, 51 R lenses. And this was also another thing why we have basically introduced the Leica SL system in 2015, that it's now possible to make use of your old R lenses again. And then last but not least, all cine lenses. So especially when you are keen into doing amazing video content, the lenses from our partner company, Light Cine, they are outstanding. I don't know if you've heard about that, but with their lenses, they have actually won an Oscar with their lenses. And then over here, we see a picture of a Sigma lens, actually. You see, even in a Leica launch, we include a picture of a Sigma lens. So this is shot with a 400 millimeter Sigma lens. And as I said in the beginning, if 280 is not enough for you, you don't have to worry about, go for a Sigma lens and you can still get images like this. And then in the first half of 2021, we can already share with you, there will be a firmware update coming for the SL2-S, which will include also a huge step up for the focusing mode. So when it comes to tracking or in terms of eye, face, and body detection, there will be major improvements. And all of these improvements that you see over here, especially made and created for those who are keen into recording professional video content. So I know as a photographer, this might be confusing for you, but I tell you, for everybody who is really into professional video content, those upgrades that are coming with the first firmware update, they will be very, very important and very helpful for videographers. Okay, then we are coming to the fun part of the session, which will be the user sharing. So first one will be Munster. For all technical questions, I see already one in the chat box. We wait until the end to answer them. If you want to ask Munster a question about the specific picture, then you can do that immediately and I will read it out to him. So welcome Munster Chong, photographer and Leica ambassador. He was one of the first to shoot with the SL2-S and we are very interested to hear about your experience now.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Mansa, do you want me to already go to the first picture
Yes,
directly?
yeah.
Jump in. So maybe you tell in the first step, how was it first impression when you got the camera in your hands?
Well, I've been the user for the SL2 system for almost a year, and this is a very, very new. It means the kind of experience for me since I also come from using other systems before. Let me show you. So this is one of my favorite setups with the M lenses. So this is the SL2, and then when I get my hands on the SL2-S, right? So I did this shoot during a magic hour, around 6 to 7 o'clock at the CBD area. So I took an hour, and we know that we have very terrible weather these few days, right? So when I got this shot, I was very, very happy. So the way that I built this, when I compose these shots, I will never see my subjects as subjects themselves. And the whole point of approaching this shoot is not to see buildings as buildings, and to see them as something more graphical element of a graphical element. And I see lines, textures, reflections, and I enjoy seeing the reflections of other buildings as well. Okay, next picture.
Munster, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
So while this is definitely not your forte, I mean,
Yeah.
you're not an architecture or a let me call it landscape, or however you want to interpret this photo. What do you actually specialize in, just for the benefit of the audience, because there are people from all over the region here. Let them know what kind of work you do, and because they probably would assume that this is such good quality work that you're probably an architecture photographer or something.
Okay, my main business is in commercial, fashion, and luxury. So I do a lot of print content for magazines, in-store posters, commercial shoots, right? So my main clients are in luxury brands, right? For watches, for fashion brands, etc.
So from luxury companies, that's why they pay you very well, and that's how you can afford a Leica, right?
You don't need to get paid well to afford Leica. You just need to have passion.
Right, go for it.
Right. So when I was given this SL2-S, right, I was very, very excited because it's like a younger brother of the SL2 that I have, right? So they asked me to do some proof of performance shots. So I decided to do something that's very different and out of my comfort zone. In fact, I'm not a street photographer. So when Sunil, you asked me the question on how do I actually approach this architectural kind of photography, I can tell you that I don't see this as architectural photography because I don't see them as buildings. Whereas I see them as canvases, as lines, as graphical elements on the streets.
As a matter of fact, there is a question that just came from a gentleman called Andy. Did you use a tilt shift lens for these two photos? So this must be really your photography skills must be fantastic, that people are thinking that you're running around with a bag full of gear and lenses. Yeah.
This is all I carry with me, right? So it's a 2490 on the SL2S. So this is all I have. And I don't want to carry a lot of equipment, because when we do fashion, we do commercial photography, we have a lot of flash, a whole set of lenses with a computer, with laptops, we have tethering happening all over the place. So with this shoot, I just want to go one hand, one camera and one lens, put it on program mode, and that's it. I do not want to think about the technical aspects of what this camera can do, and I want it to show me what it can do. So I walk around the streets and just looking for graphical elements, and they are all over the place, right? Can we go to the next picture?
And so may I ask you, you mentioned that usually you are shooting something totally different. So what was the reason that you have decided here to shoot this one, which you are not, you said you are not so familiar with? So will you not be afraid that that is not working out? And what was the reason that you decided to shoot especially this one?
Fear is always a good thing. Like I say, I always wanted to step outside my comfort zone, right? I'm comfortable in a studio setup, in flashes. I have a whole team of people. When I do fashion, there's a stylist, there's assistants, there's hair, there's makeup, there's models. We work in a very big team and we support each other. But for this, I just want to just roam around the streets for once, let the SL2-S speak for itself and see what it can do for me, right? That's why I don't even put it on manual mode. I just shoot it on auto and see what it can do. So you can see the results are amazing. In fact, it's like a tool that translates what I see into imagery. And that is very not, this is actually very difficult, you see. Because for other systems that I've been using before, when we put on auto mode, when we shoot landscape, they can't get the balance between highlights and shadows very well. So usually in auto mode, you either get a very overexposed image or a very underexposed ones. But you can see how well Leica reads, how well the sensor reads. It can capture the dynamic range from the shadows all the way to the highlights and give me a very good balance in between. So when I put it in Lightroom or Capture One, immediately it's just a few tweaks, it's just a bit of contrast, and that's it, boom. The JPEG just exported and then it's out here. So in fact, I do not need to actually do much color correction. It's just so easy to use.
And it's very interesting that you're saying you're shooting on auto. In our last launch session for the Q2 monochrome, our ambassador Ike Beng Chia also said he's shooting in program mode, so automatic. So I was like, wow, how a photographer is really admitting that. But as you're also saying that, it really shows that you can leave the thinking to the camera and just focus on framing and composing your picture.
Because very often I have full control over what I want to do. Very often I have the image in my head, I have a team of people, I have the model, everything is set up, and I set all my settings correct, my flash power is correct, my pose, the pose of the model is correct to achieve the desired image that I have in my head, right? But this is for once that I just want to let go, let free, and just let my eyes do the talking. I just want to see with my eyes. I do not wish to think about. So what ISO should I be shooting at? Where's the focus point supposed to be? What kind of aperture should I be setting in? It's like, no, I'm just going to throw this all out and just focus on seeing and let the camera capture what I see, full stop. And this is the results that how it can actually translate so well from what I see into imagery. It's just so easy. This is why I say this camera, is a beast, the words I used.
There's another question from Andy who's asking, did you use exposure compensation when you shoot on program mode?
No, I did not. I did not minus or plus any exposure compensation, just on 0.
So it all comes out of the camera like this?
Yes, correct. So all I did was just add a bit of contrast. That's all.
Andy, I think Munster has some magical fingers. You need to maybe imagine those fingers when you are shooting. So I'm sure you will also get those kind of pictures. But luckily, as Munster said, this was the golden hour. And, that's the reason why they call it the golden hour, because some magical things happen during this hour.
So as you can see in this image, if I use any other systems or your iPhone, for example, or a smartphone, you'll see this image might be either totally underexposed because of the bright sky at the back, right? And everything will be very shadowed in the foreground, the building will be very shadowed. But in this image, you can see the dynamic range in this image. My skies are not blown out, it's still blue. And there's still shadows in the details, in the balconies, in the shadow glass areas. So how I approach this image, again, I don't see this as a building itself. I see the reflections, I see it as a mirror. I see these buildings speaking to each other. That's why you see the buildings, they're reflecting off the other building. So to me, I'm building a relationship between these buildings. I don't see them as buildings, I see them more like human beings. That's why I named this series Inhabitants. So the other inhabitants, and I'm just a bystander.
Actually, the simplest way to solve this question and answer session would be, please go to the Leica store, pick up the camera, take it for a spin, and just believe in yourself and the camera. Because like he said, it's a beast. Most of our Leica stores have this camera in-house. One request would be, don't just go for the photography element. Please also use the video element. Because as Lucas mentioned, these are two individual cameras that are in one body. And we are not charging you the price of two cameras, but we are charging you the price of one. So the best way is to actually go to the store, pick it up, and actually use it. Then you will realize how beautiful, how accurate, how great these pictures come out.
I can share a bit more on the video because I've been I'm not just a photographer, I do a lot of videography. So I've been using a lot for social media content. This is what the market is after right now. So shooting in 4K mode or cinema 4K mode allows so much power for you to crop in. And it's true, the video files from Leica, again, they are actually bigger in size, larger in size compared to its competitors in terms of video file size. But one thing that I realized is that it gives me so much leverage and power to actually color grade the video files. And I can actually crop in quite a lot. And I really enjoy shooting with the Leica in the 4K mode. It's fantastic.
Yes, one question from DMRK8. What's the difference between auto and program mode? Actually, you usually say auto, but the right one should be program mode, because we cannot use A in our settings, because A is aperture priority. So that's why we call it program mode in the camera, which is the automatic mode where the camera decide aperture, shutter speed, and ISO for you.
Just a quick one. The program mode. Aperture priority and manual mode. Yep, so it's program mode. Yeah, this image, this was almost like 7:30, right? This is my last shot of the day. So after this, right, the sky was raining, you see. And you can see the gloomy cloud starts to loom in. And at this point of time, right, I was shooting above 6,400 ISO. I can't remember, but it was at least 6,400 ISO. So you still can see the quality of the image in the shadow areas. There's really very minimum noise. So comparatively to the SL2, this is a smaller sensor, but again, it's fantastic for street photography, for journalistic photography, documentary photography, events photography, because it can hold so much more files in your card, and you do not worry about about your hard disk being full.
Sorry, Munster, there's a very interesting question from GP. GP wants to hear the shutter sound, but before you make them hear the shutter sound, I have to say to everybody, I'm not sure if you all know, but the Leica M system in its heydays, which was I think in the mid 60s and 70s, was the only camera, I would say even in the 2000s, was the only camera that was allowed in the US and several operas and several places where normal cameras were not allowed because they had a very bad shutter sound. So not sure if it is true, but we were also the only camera that was allowed in the US courtroom. And this was simply because we had one of the softest shutter sound in the industry. And believe me, the reason why I'm saying this is if that was quiet, Munster will show you what really quiet means. Now, Munster.
I hope that you guys can hear this. It's very small. Can you hear it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
You come to the store and find out, my heart got stolen by the sound of the shutter. It's such a joy to shoot, you see. So again, holding a Leica, right? Shooting a Leica, the experience is very different. Look at this beauty. The design. And now compared to the SL2, you can see this painted Leica logo, and this is totally matte black. Isn't this amazing? This is super brutalist.
Well, the best way, again, like I said, is go to the store, test it out yourself, because again, we are talking on Zoom here, and maybe sometimes you have an echo, sometimes you can't get the quality right, but the best is when you just test it for yourself. So please do me that favor, just go there, make an appointment with your Leica store, and they will be happy to have you and show you this product, actually show you these two products which have been combined into one.
You have to come to the store and hold it in your own hands, fire it, and hear the shutter for yourself, and feel it with your own hands. You can't do this through Zoom. It's impossible. Yeah, for this image again, I was more interested in the other buildings that's outside this building. So I'm actually focusing on the reflections of the building itself. So every building is like a mirror to me. It's like a canvas to me. right? Rather than seeing it as architecture or a building or a skyscraper. I'm more interested in what's trying to tell me. Okay.
Okay, then thank you very much, Munster, for the
you.
interesting sharing, and also heads up that you shoot these pictures in an area where you're not so familiar with. So I think the results can be definitely seen. Very nice work.
Yeah, great job. Thank you, Munster.
Thank you.
Then we go on with our second user sharing guest today. I think if you are Singaporean, some of you already know him. Casey Eng, are you already with us?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
Okay, your echo is very bad. So
Is it okay now?
now it's better. I think maybe
Yeah, that's good.
sitting next to Munster, then okay, now it's better.
Good.
Okay,
So-
Casey, same question to you. I mean, I know the answer already, but how was it when you first got the cameras in your hand? I feel like you really find that one very attractive.
Yeah, I found it very attractive. I found it very interesting on the fact that it performs very well at very high ISO. The new sensor, it was amazing. I purposely went to a place that is very contrasty, and I want to test a high ISO. And surprisingly, when I get the file, and I was saying this morning, it is like what Muhammad Ali has mentioned, that you float like a butterfly, but you sting like a bee. The files are so easy to work with, and the camera is so fast and so responsive. And that's what I feel about this camera. It is sort of it really just blends in with the shooting styles, and you are not worried that you are shooting late at night in the empty streets, and then you have contrast coming in with all the street lights, and it's wonderful. Yeah.
So let's go on and have a look on your pictures. I know this is one of your favorites.
Yeah.
So story about this one.
hey,
So-
for those of you who do not know Casey, don't go by this very chocolate-looking face. You know, he has a face of a monk, but he is actually a martial art specialist. Uh, he makes his living by selling photographs. He is a very kind-hearted human being, and he is very passionate about what he does.
Thank
I've
you.
known him since a few years, and thank you for all your work, Casey. But maybe for the benefit of others, just please give us a one-liner, two-liners about what kind of work you do. How do you make your money? Because you've probably spent more than $100,000 with us. You probably.
No. Most of my clients are industrial clients. Okay. I shoot industrial buildings, factories machine, and even those machines that so-called store your LVMH products. So most of my clients are industrial clients, cars. So this is where my work is, and a part of it is also food. I shoot a lot of food, and in fact, this is one of the food shots. So I bring this camera for a short production, and my clients were surprised that the chili in the EVF of the camera looks nicer than the real chili that is presented on the table. So he was keep on wondering what cameras this is, and then keep on asking, and then how come the chili is so tasty when they come out of the camera? So this is one of the surprising things about the files for this 24 megapixel camera. I have a wide dynamic range. I can make it contrasty. I can lower the contrast. There's so much thing I can do with this file, but this is straight out of the camera, and that is interesting. And that becomes a very versatile camera for me to use. Yes.
When we are looking at your second one, I also know this one of your favorites just because of the color. When you showed me this,
Yes.
color comes out and it is so smooth and so natural.
Yeah. So this is when so I purposely go to try it out. I have a very successful one with the chili. So what I did is let me try out some other subjects, and this particular kit that I'm shooting, and it was wonderful. I wanted a more neutral look. You can configure it in the camera, and when you shoot it with a 51.4, well, I managed to get sharp focus and tap on, and it was just soft. It was a different breed, a different neutral colors, and that shows the difference of how wide a dynamic range. As long as you know how to perform with the camera, it's beautiful. It will give you the result that you want.
Cinematic.
Yes, it's very cinematic.
So you didn't do much post-processing on those pictures?
No, I don't do much post-processing. I either add in black or remove. You can change the profile direct off the camera if you want to.
Okay, and then let's go on to your third one.
Okay. This is an interesting thing. I actually go to Geylang Lorong 3 where they're about to demolish the whole area, and somehow I was taking the camera at 2490 to go in and do a shoot, and this was a very dimly lit place. This is a 6400 ISO, and this is where I want to test out the camera, see whether at high ISO there's any problem, or will I encounter noise. And then I found it's beautiful. It's just straight out of it. And then yeah, I found that the dynamic range has become that I can work with more varieties at a faster and simpler place, and then it's easy to edit the files. It's easy to work with the files, and the camera behaves very fast. It is very receptive on the fast performance.
Then I think the next one, probably the one that you, no, I think the other one, but this one also, I said,
this one, yes, same area
that you were shooting in.
Yes, and if you see the contrast, the guy is wearing a white shirt and he's fairly dark, but again, you're able to capture the dynamic range, and you can save the data, and it is there for you to use. Yeah, and then I'm shooting through a lorry. It was actually dark, and then he's on the other side of the lorry. So this is the first few days I was taking the camera, and this is Tekka Market. It's a Geylang Market, so it's fairly crowded, very dimly lit, and I'm trying to test the stabilizer, see whether it is as good. So in SL2, you have the stabilizer helping you, but in SL2-S, you have the stabilizer plus the high ISO good performance helping you together. So you are able to fix the person, and you're able to shoot at high ISO, and you can stabilize your shot.
You see, there's one, actually, there's not even a question, a comment from Julian. He said that when you said it's very easy to work with in terms of processing, he said that you also discovered that long time ago in the Leica M8.
Yes.
Share that experience.
Okay, the Leica M8. The Leica M8 is a CCD camera. So the Leica M8 is actually quite fun to use, exceptionally good in black and white. They have a special black and white mode that you can work with. And then, but compared to this is a new breed of, it surpassed that CCD age, that I would say.
Casey, what the comment was that with Leica cameras, whether it is a M8 or a SL2-S, the quality of our pictures are so good that you do not need to do any post-processing. That was a nice comment from...
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have to just add here, that's absolutely right. And the simple logic here is, we are the best company in the world when it comes to making lenses, and the information that comes on a sensor is actually going through the lens. And of course, our lenses are expensive, and because we use the best materials that money can buy, then it is no point after taking a picture that you're spending 2 hours on some Lightroom or Photoshop or something doing post processing. So that has always been a part of our DNA as a company, that make pictures that are almost ready to be taken out of the camera and put on the screen.
Okay, I think this was your last one. Also, thank you very much to you for your sharing. And now we are doing the Q&A session. So if you have not asked your questions yet, feel free to ask whatever you want to me, Casey, or Munster. I just go ahead and start from the beginning because I said there's one question I haven't answered yet. So question from Andy was, is the SL Vario lenses sealed, and do they focus breathe and allow dust and moisture in? So the IP54 rating, we definitely guarantee with all SL lenses. So these lenses, they are as well protected that you can reach the IP54. So I had said in the beginning, I can pour a glass of water over the lenses and there's nothing to happen there, even with the zoom lenses. Second thing about the focus brief, I mean, I don't know how you are used to it from other lenses that you have. Maybe Casey or Matsu, you can share your experience here. I only can say is you hear a little bit, but it's very, very smooth, and they don't suck the dust and the moisture in actually. Then there was a question regarding the monochrome. So have you introduced also the monochrome? Yes, we did, but this was the Leica Q2 monochrome that we have launched about, I think, 1 month ago. And just to make sure that we don't mix it up here, it is not the SL2 monochrome, it's the Leica Q2 monochrome, which also fits into a family with the M10 monochrome that we're having.
Let me take this one. There's a question regarding living in Vietnam and the price is higher as the official one. I'm not sure, Carlo, if you've been to any Leica store. We have 2 Leica stores in Vietnam, one in Hanoi and one in Ho Chi Minh. And the pricing should be similar globally. This is what we aspire to achieve. But in different countries, there are certain additional taxes, import duties, and logistical expenses that sometimes, and also maybe the exchange rate, that sometimes might create a little bit of a gap. But the gap would not be tremendously big. The advantage of buying wherever you are is higher than buying it from an unauthorized source, because when you do purchase from an unauthorized source, which basically means not an authorized like a dealer, the warranty does not come into place. You will not be respected for warranty. So my recommendation to you would be, if you don't mind, we have your email address because you registered with us. We will pass on your information to the Leica store in Vietnam and they will follow up with you. Thanks.
Okay, if there is no other question right now, I just conclude the session today and say, first of all, thank you very much to our 2 guests today, Casey and Munster, as you're not only doing the Zoom session with us, you have also been helping us a lot with other sessions, and I have to say thanks a lot for your work. And also
hang on. Sorry. There's one more question.
Yeah, new one.
Yeah.
Okay, will it be possible to fine-tune the Kelvin settings under the white balance? Currently, it's only 5,000. I don't think so. I have not heard about it that you can tune it by yourself. So,
but let's check it up, because this is something that even I don't know, and we'll get back to Raymond Chan. The team at the back, just make sure that we have Raymond Chan's email address. We get back to him with this white balance Kelvin setting question. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, as Sunil already mentioned, this is the presentation, the welcoming of the camera, but please make the step into the store. If you are from Singapore, you can approach me, or if you're already in contact with a salesperson, ask a salesperson, make an appointment to test drive the SL2-S. If you are from another country, approach your respective store, and I think they will be more than happy to make an appointment with you, that you have also the time and also the gear prepared, everything for you to really get the maximum out of this camera. And so you can also take your pictures home with you and review it afterwards. And this is always the best that you can do. Make yourself an own experience, and it will definitely be a very nice one.
Hey, Raymond, just a quick comment. Yes, maybe I'm not sure if Leica can't, but there are many things we can't, and there are many things we can. And maybe Canon can do this, but Canon does not have unlimited recording, and perhaps Leica has. So at the end of the day, it's not about one can and the other can't. Maybe it's about which can give you the best picture in the best possible way, and that's the decision that you have to make for yourself. But before we rule out anything, I would like to invite you to the store and test it out for yourself, and feel the difference and see the image quality, and then we can decide whether one can or the other can't. Uh, Jojo, the sample videos are available with the Leica store team. Uh, Please go and visit and request for the videos. We have it all there available. So best way to get information is visit the store, pick up the camera, pick up the camera. It's not an echo. It's not an echo. I'm saying it purposely a few times. So I really wish that you go to the store and check it out for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much once again on behalf of Leica Camera. We appreciate your time. It was a quick one this time, just under an hour, and we're so happy to again communicate with you, and would love to see many of you in the store. Have a great weekend, and Merry Christmas in advance, and a Happy New Year too. So see you soon.
Thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.